ocean, reaching for the skies. With hearts and minds united, we'll dig deep, uncovering the secrets that the darkness tries to keep. Truth seekers on a journey, we won't be swayed. Breaking through corruption, finding our own way. Bringing strangers together like family will stand. In these challenging times, we'll lend a helping hand. Through the whispers and the lies, we search the night. Guided by a beacon, shining ever bright. Sometimes truth can hurt, but we'll face the pain. Together we'll come through like sunshine after rain. Truth seekers on a journey, we won't be swayed. Breaking through corruption, finding our own way. Bringing strangers together like family will stand. In these challenging times, we'll lend a helping hand. All aboard, we're riding that truth train. Through the storms and through the strain. Hand in hand, we'll heal and mend. Truth seekers' quest, it never ends. Truth seekers on a journey, we won't be swayed. Breaking through corruption, finding our own way. Bringing strangers together like family will stand. In these challenging times, we'll lend a helping hand. So here's to the seekers, strong and bold, unveiling the stories that need to be told. With unity and courage, we'll light the way. On this truth train, come what may.
Hey guys, I'm here. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th ahead of schedule. I hope everybody has a good weekend this weekend. Spend time with your family. I want to thank everybody for the prayers for Mike and his family. I thank everybody for being here. But normally you can tell how good the economy is by how many fireworks people pop tomorrow. You'll see it. I remember back in the day, everybody had fireworks, it seemed like, right? The whole neighborhood would be out till midnight. Kids popping fireworks off in their hands. Then it gets closer to midnight. Then we start taking bottle rockets and lighting them off in our hands and throwing them.
Right.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then
last year, there wasn't that many around us. I'm kind of glad because the dogs freak out.
Right. So as you can see, it's just me and my wife. She almost forgot me too. She just now came on a little bit late here, but I'm glad she's here with me. I'm glad you guys are here with us. We're going to keep it a little, I'm not really going to get into the craziness, but I'm going to share some pretty good information tonight. Here we go. Let me go to share screen. We're going to get right into this. Mike, he's got someone coming to check him out today. I believe the Empress hooked him up with some holistic doctor. Well, I don't know if this would be the same thing. Holistic doctors. Is that a moximoron?
Doula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the update on Mike. I haven't spoken with him today. I don't call him that much, especially when he's sick, because he gets a little cranky, and rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah. So we're just trying to keep it moving here until Mike gets back to 100%. Thank you for your support during this process. Thank you for everybody that's asking about Mike. What are we going to start with today? Let's go with, let's see what we got here. We're going to talk about the truth about frequency use. We're going to do a little bit of Sabrina Wallace. Right here is flowers. You want to talk about this flower right here real quick?
Yeah, you have to open it. There's several, they're called flower essence, that help with PSTD and trauma.
And here it is right here.
Yeah, there's
Flower essence.
several of them.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's these right here.
Okay.
Star of Bethlehem, aspen, rock rose, yarrow, mimulus. That one helps with PSTD. Flower essence for rebuilding strength after trauma is oak, elm, and holly. And yeah, so you might want to look into those. It helps with trauma or emotional trauma. It helps support emotional healing and recovery. So those are something you might want to look into. I posted it on the chat walls.
Yeah, what's the Star of Bethlehem?
It's called Comforter of Sorrows. Anyone suffering from emotional... Where'd it go?
Sorry, hold on. You can even get the tinctures, looks like,
Yeah.
But here it is. That's the Star of Bethlehem.
Yes.
But let me read the article real quick. I just don't want to go. I'm already wanting to look at the flowers, but so here's the flower essences plus PTSD, a general approach to healing trauma. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a complex condition that arises after experiencing or witnessing traumatic events. Symptoms may include flashbacks, anxiety, depression, emotional numbness, and difficulty with sleep. While traditional therapies such as counseling and medications are commonly used, holistic approaches like flower essences can offer gentle yet effective support for emotional healing and recovery. Let me get this so y'all can get it. Flower essences are liquid extracts made from the flowers that carry the vibrational energy of that plant. They are used to address emotional and mental states rather than physical symptoms. Unlike essential oils or like herbal remedies, flower essence works on a subtle energetic level, making them a wonderful complementary therapy for dealing with PTSD. It's for my veterans out there. And anyone else that's had some went through anything traumatic, really. It doesn't really have to be veterans, but there just seems to be something. So understanding flower essences. Flower essences operate on the principle that emotional imbalances or traumas can manifest in the physical body. And so by addressing the emotional wounds at their core, a flower essence encourages the body's innate ability to heal itself. They do not work by suppressing symptoms, but by helping to transform the negative emotional patterns associated with trauma. So for individuals with PTSD, flower essences can assist in processing and releasing deeply held emotions, creating a space for healing and restoration. These remedies are safe, natural, and non-habit forming, making them an ideal addition to traditional treatments or as a standalone option for those seeking alternative paths to recovery. So, how flower essence supports PTSD recovery. People with PTSD often face emotional triggers and patterns of fear, anger, or helplessness. Flower essences help to shift these emotional states by offering subtle energetic support to the body's emotional field. According to a study published in the Scientific Review of Mental Health Practice, flower essences have been found to positively influence emotional well-being and stress management without causing adverse effects. So in PTSD, flower essences can assist in releasing suppressed emotions like grief, fear, and anger, easing anxiety and hypervigilance, reducing feelings of overwhelm and hopelessness, rebuilding emotional resilience and inner strength, and helping to process and release traumatic memories. And that the flowers is also something they use, especially the lotus and the spiritual
Yes, the lotus
rituals.
lotus flower. It also helps with
just the smell of it.
yes, and you can make a tea with it as well.
So these would be good plants to put in the in your pharmacy, in your front yard, in your little pharmaceutical garden. You know, grow something that you can actually use instead of just to look at.
Right.
But this is the Star of Bethlehem, often referred to as the Comforter of Sorrow. Star of Bethlehem is one of the primary remedies for a shock and trauma. It is recommended for anyone suffering from emotional and physical trauma, including those with PTSD. Star of Bethlehem helps to soothe the shock to the system and offers gentle healing for deep emotional wounds. So these plants they grow in the sunlight all day long. So they got the sunlight, the energies from that.
The frequency.
And so when you smell that, ingest it, drink it, it does something.
Yes. Yeah, we're made to eat what's out there and consume what's out there. It's all healing.
Number 2, we got Rescue Remedy. We're going to have to look up, see what that one looks like too, real quick.
It's a combination of different.
This is a combination of 5 Bach flower essences, including the Star of Bethlehem, and often used in times of crisis or after a traumatic experience. It helps to calm the mind, reduce panic, and stabilize emotions. Rescue Remedy is particularly helpful during flashbacks or moments of extreme anxiety. Aspen flower essence is beneficial for those who experience fear, anxiety, or terror without a known cause. For PTSD sufferers who deal with frequent nightmares or unexplained anxiety, aspen can offer relief by helping them feel safe and protected. This will be good for kids too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Kids that have
Definitely.
nightmares or always maybe face something traumatic, so they're kind of clinging to mama all the time and hide behind her.
Yeah, and it's natural, soothing.
So we got rock rose. Rock rose is a powerful remedy for those who are paralyzed by fear or terror. In cases where PTSD causes extreme panic, fear, or even disassociation, that's how you pronounce it. Rock rose can help bring a sense of calm and courage to face the underlying emotions. Yarrow is known for its protective qualities, helping individuals to maintain their energetic boundaries. For people with PTSD who often feel hypersensitive or easily overwhelmed, yarrow can act as a protective shield, and it helps them maintain emotional integrity while navigating traumatic memories or triggers. Mimulus is effective for addressing known fears such as fear of crowds, fear of loud noises, or fear of being in certain situations that remind the person of their trauma. It helps those who are anxious about specific events or places and supporting them and feeling more grounded and secure. Flower essences for rebuilding strength after trauma. Flower essence can also play a role in rebuilding emotional strength and resilience after trauma. The healing process of PTSD often involves rediscovering inner strength and learning how to trust oneself again. That's important, right? Trust oneself and rediscovering inner strength. Sunflower essences that are particularly supportive in this aspect include oak. For those who feel they must keep going despite being emotionally exhausted, oak offers strength to those who carry on through sheer willpower, helping them release the burden of being strong all the time. Elm. Elm is for those who feel overwhelmed by the responsibility of their emotions and trauma. Elm helps restore confidence and reminds the person that they are capable of handling life's demands. Holly. Holly used to heal feelings of anger, jealousy, and emotional bitterness. Holly helps clear resentment and opens the heart to love and forgiveness, which are often blocked in a post-traumatic stress disorder sufferers. So how to use flower essences for PTSD. Flower essences are typically taken orally with a few drops placed under the tongue or added to water. They can also be applied topically to pulse points, added to bath water, or used in the mist spray around your space. Rescue remedy is often taken as needed during moments of stress or panic, while individuals' essences may be used consistently over time for deeper emotional work. The effects of the flower essences are subtle but powerful, and regular use can gradually shift emotional patterns and bring about lasting change. It's important to remember that flower essences are complementary to other therapies and are not substitute for professional, medical, or psychological treatment. So flowers, herbs, even trees.
Yeah.
So we were talking about what were we talking about today? Our energy field?
Yes. That's another one too. It's another essence flower that also is called Specia.
Last night we talked about the
lily.
Is this it right here?
Yeah. It's a lily.
That right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you do. When you see one of these, y'all need to get some Roundup and spray it.
They're also purple.
That was a joke.
Violet color, depending on what region you're in.
What flower is it?
It's a
splendid Mariposa. Maria Posa.
Mariposa lily.
All right. And what is this for?
It also heals emotional trauma as well. So there's a bunch of them, but that was.
We'll share this. This is a big article.
Yeah, I shared that one. I can reshare it too. Yeah, it gives a whole history on like the legend of it and.
Yeah. So it's talking about the moment that the Archangel Gabriel is shown holding white lily flowers. The blessed mother of Jesus Christ Jesus receives news of her divine conception. The Archangel Gabriel is shown holding white lily flowers, even the royal purple, in its form and coloration, a nod to the plenum of the feminine archetype. So its purple-colored lily form inherently expresses that when a kingdom is in balance, its feminine principle is honored and protected, which in turn allows the richness of life to flow in abundance for all to enjoy. So we'll do that. What is this? Okay, your health is your wealth. All right. We're going to play that.
All right, I'm going to go over a few herbs. Now, black walnut green, walnut leaves are good for getting worms out of the body. It can also be used on the skin. On the skin for, like, children get ringworms and stuff like that. Like, my top herbs also that could be good for parasites is aloe vera. You can get you some aloe vera. Like, my top herbs for you to get is aloe vera, the aloe vera leaf. Keep that in your house. Get some clove. So if you have any viruses, any sickness, clove heats up the blood and kills the viruses. If you want a multivitamin, make sure that you get dandelion root. That's really, really good.
Yeah,
or you can also do papaya seeds. Papaya seeds are very strong though. You got to make sure you drink a lot of herbs. All right, I'm gonna go over a few herbs now.
So this is the pharmacy right here. That's what a pharmacy is supposed to look like.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what because we're natural. We're supposed to be taking natural stuff from Mother Earth.
Well, I mean, that's what the people that make the pills do anyway. They come and get these herbs and then they
make it synthetic. Yeah.
Make it synthetic.
Which we're not synthetic, so we shouldn't be putting synthetic stuff in our bodies.
Walnut green, walnut leaves are good for getting worms out of the body. It can also be used.
So used as a cleansing wash, the green rind of the fruit makes a good poultice to get rid of ringworms. Black walnut leaves.
Right. And the black walnut also helps cleanse the colon. So that's what you need to do after you deworm, is cleanse the colon. Kind of pushes everything out.
Yeah.
on the skin for, like, children get ringworms and stuff like that. Like, my top herbs also that could be good for parasites is aloe vera. You can get you some aloe vera. Like, my top herbs for you to get is aloe vera, the aloe vera leaf. Keep that in your house. Get some clove. So if you have any viruses, any sickness, clove heats up the blood and kills the viruses. If you want a multivitamin, make sure that you get dandelion root. That's really, really good. Or you can also do papaya seeds. Papaya seeds are very strong though.
Dandelion root's good.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent.
It's like the best. Dandelion root is good. All right, which one do you want me to play? Is this one being played or this one right here? Where at? All right, you gonna do Sabrina Wallace? This one?
Yeah.
You ever catch yourself thinking, why did I just do that? That was not me. You are not crazy. Let me explain how modern phones and apps can override human free will, and most folks have no clue it is happening. First, understand what PSYOPs, psychological operations, are. It is not science fiction. It is real-world manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and behavior, usually through media, words. But now, your phone is the perfect weapon for it. Modern smartphones are loaded with hardware most people ignore. Phased array antennas, normally used for radar or military communications, can beam highly targeted microwave signals. Software-defined radios baked into your phone interact with 4th generation, 5th generation, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth constantly. Your apps, they are not just harvesting data. They act as routing points for external commands and data streams. That means your phone is not just listening to you. It can send signals back at you, frequencies that interact with your biofield, your nervous system, even your subconscious. The old MK Ultra was about mind control with drugs and trauma. The new version? It is digital, wireless, invisible. You ever notice? You feel a sudden mood shift? You get an urge to do something completely out of character? You wake up feeling off, like someone tampered with your head? It is not paranoia. Certain apps, lockdown operating systems, and background processes override your consent by flooding your body with subliminal signals through your phone's antennas and your own data trail. New phones now? Bootloader's locked, you cannot disable the core systems. Even if you opt out, your data routes, location, biometrics, still harvested, still manipulated. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You are living through a silent war for your biology, your mind, your choices. Step 1, know it exists. Step 2, shield yourself mentally and physically. Turn it off when you can. Push for open tech. Your sovereignty depends on it. Stay awake. Stay sovereign.
Stay awake, stay sovereign. Well, you can't really go back to sleep once you wake up. I mean, you could try to stick your head back in the sand, but good luck. You can't put a sleeping giant. A giant that wakes up back to sleep.
No.
So here's the Serena Wallace June 27th, Real ID. So we played this first video. That's going to go with the second.
So for those of you,
Everybody's familiar with Sabrina Wallace, right?
Yes,
Especially
she's
here.
making her rounds on many platforms. Well, she doesn't go on any platform, but her information is making its rounds. She's very picky on who she goes on a show with. So
Here, let me go.
So for those of you lost in the psychological operations and you don't understand how long they've been surveilling you under the skin with the body area network, because for whatever reason that doesn't make sense to you, okay? What I would encourage you to do is listen to these 2 short clips. The first guy is going to lay out for you why this Real ID bait and switch is ridiculous. And Whitney Webb, like her or not, I don't care. She's laying out very succinctly for everyone the company orientation that is real in cyber, biological security. Here on the channel, we've shown numerous government documentation, contracts, all the different ways they watch, with something called the Trillion Sensors Network, which is connected to the Department of Commerce on your cyber physical backbone. Now, those phrases may be completely unfamiliar to you, but to these industries, these companies, and these employees, that's exactly what they're logging into. And see, here's the problem. Your blockchain people lied to you, or themselves, or both. They're not free on Web3 in some rando dimension, playing with their Marvel comic books and their peer-to-peer. Why any of these professional people ever believed that they were free from the national security state and cybersecurity because their blocks were transparent. I don't know why they believed that. It's not true. It's never been true. There's something called infrastructure, hardware. The way the internet was built and still is running, and I don't mean legacy systems, okay? So, these sensor networks are the Trillion Sensor Network, wireless sensor networks, the Golden Dome, all these wireless sensor networks that are using hybrid mesh networks or 802.15.5 mesh networking. They talk to satellites, cell phone towers, human bodies as nodes on the network. What network? Now it's called the DODIN. Previously, it was called the Global Information Grid. Previous to that, the Sentient World Simulation. So when you tell people that, oh, we need a real ID, but oh yeah, it's just a minor inconvenience, then we'll get a retinal scan, facial ID, but oh, that's all we're using. No, they've been under the skin with human bodies for cyber, biological, security, the DHS, and biosurveillance. They don't share. National security doesn't come out there and tell you what they're doing, like the bombers and the spy planes. One day you'll find out. In the same way, since 2011, they have electronic health records with the W-band blockchain, making big old money on biomedical. What's that? The ability to log into your body with your own cells under the skin. Welcome to 2012 medical.
Is that what they call cell phones? Cell phones?
Yes, because they interact
Cellular?
with cells.
Cellular
Yes.
phones.
Yes, because they've had that up for a while, so
And-
it's not new.
and
but
they know-
they're upgrading it. Like she said, the Golden Dome, all that is the upgrade.
And they know we're antennas,
Yes,
nodes
like she explains
on
that
the grid.
we're electric. That's why you see people with like telekinesis. They can walk in a room and the light can go off or on because we actually have that ability. If we weren't tethered to this, we would be able to probably have free energy off of ourselves because we are electrical beings, and we would have telepathy. All that stuff would be natural instead of synthetic. They've been given a synthetic telepathy, synthetic clairvoyancy. Now, some people do have the ability to tap into that naturally, and some of them are being fed information.
Body area network. They just walk right in. As a doctor or a nurse, they get black box technology, meaning that they get a piece of software on their phone and usually some sort of security device that allows the routing of where all the signal goes to be nice and quiet, only for national security, local security, whatever cyber security. And then they log into human bodies for biological signal data called biosignal data. Fixed your pacemaker, your insulin pump, medical implant communication system since 1999. Mandated worldwide today with two things: ultra wideband on human body communication. So if you think the real ID is just a little paperwork inconvenience, they've been at this since 2005. And when we look at the kill box on the global information
So they had this one planned 20 years ago before you even heard about a real ID.
grid, that would be electronic warfare to target your bioelectricity with your body area network.
Oh, all while you were being distracted with the war in Iraq, by the way.
Yes.
So that
all that stuff.
all that everything they did, they initiated the whole New World Order agenda, full
Yes.
speed ahead.
It's all planned way in advance, and they slowly
Over time,
Yeah.
little bitty trickle, because
get
if
your
they
cell phone, and then that's how they got you.
they trickle it out so that you don't see the big ass lake and say, no, we don't want it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way you don't reject it because it's slowly administered onto us. That's why you have Agenda 2030. That's why you have all of the agendas, other agendas, 2040, so on and so on. They go way out. So it's hard to see it if you're just looking at it on a day-by-day basis. You have to go to a 100,000-foot view and go back a few years, decades, hell, even 100 years it's been in play.
2005. That's network-centric warfare, which we're under today. So those of you that still don't understand that you are not decentralized, you are more enmeshed than you've ever been. And those of you that still don't understand, you've been lied to by who, for what, I don't know. I'm not you. But computer networking, hardware infrastructure orientation, NatSec doesn't change because a bunch of people lie about peer-to-peer, the logical link layer, or the MAC IDs, of which there are several that are already connected since 1995 commercially for companies. Okay? So your Web3 fantasy, where you thought you were all just by yourselves, it's never been built that way. It's never run that way. They had it running before they handed it to you to build with the GitHub, with PhysioNet for HHS. Now, if you're curious about any of that, I have videos on the channel. I have videos on the Rumble. But one thing is for certain. If I were in your shoes at any level, professionally, financially, I would get educated on that body area network, the different companies involved, because just like Whitney explained, with deregulation, that means that the government themselves, they didn't give you a way to go to your doctor or anybody and talk about anything. No, it's proprietary. That means a company runs it. You ain't suing them or their AI software that says you did something wrong. No grounds.
Yep, especially with the big beautiful bill.
Or AI.
Just made it to where you can't do anything for 10 years. Each state by state.
Right.
Can't pass any law. You can't
To go against AI.
For the next 10 years. And that's why Trump brought out the what was it? His first news conference about the AI vaccines that could cure cancer. But first, you got to get uploaded.
Yes.
So that, or give them a drop of blood.
Right. So they're going to sell you the cure because so many people have the turbo cancer, the cancer, a lot of medical issues. So they have something for you.
Yeah, here we go.
Now, if again, these people that have been BSing, as long as I've been 3 years now going, why are you lying about this stuff? It's super easy. Why wouldn't you just tell people? Because if people knew that you were already under their skin, they'd probably be pissed off about that. Like the targeted individual community that everybody said doesn't exist, right? Okay, well, we have a different issue with synthetic biology. Whitney mentions mRNA. That's not your biggest problem. If I were you, I'd be looking up human augmentation conferences on the Google or whatever. And I would be checking out 15 years at universities, not in deep underground bases, for something called human augmentation, which is also in the Agenda 2030 goals. That's why all the under the skin surveillance for load balancing body area networks. It's not just for pacemakers and the paraplegics. No. Interoperability with brain-computer interface, single brain to another human brain, full duplex, that's 2014. Single human brain to many human brains, that's 2019. It's time to get caught up on what they're really doing with these body area networks, or your decision-making will be flawed because they are not going backwards. They are going forwards with a requirement internationally called human augmentation. You can also find human augmentation at universities like the University of Michigan with their human augmentation projects and many more. So that is what, in my opinion, given the different industry, business, and legal architecture that they've been doing, which for reasons none of us on the channel could understand, nobody would talk about, well, they've already augmented. We've read off some places in MDPI Sensor Journal from 2021 in which a multimodal body-machine interface in which a soldier can take a vagal nerve stimulator, so it only works for 7 or 8 hours, and control drones, robot dogs, whatever, with their mind. No chip in their head. Okay? They're using a piece of human anatomy, and they have been this whole time, called the human biofield. It's in my biofield HHS videos. And that's the same human anatomy for next-gen air dominance when you're teaming with the drones. It's just your nervous system as a backbone network for the air or molecular communication to the other little wireless sensor networks and the drones. You have a vagal nerve stimulator with IITSEC, Air Force Research Laboratory, or an ingestible, an edible bioelectronic, like they use for the Abilify pills or endoscopy. And then it takes, just like they're showing in these articles, living tissue and makes it a transistor, makes it communicate to the wireless naturally with your own molecules. See, you could do that naturally if they were not already under your skin, perturbating your cell structure. This was the part of things nobody wanted to hear about. They didn't want to believe that anybody would be bothering their cell structure. Well, now you can purchase it with the HHS wearable or your Fitbit, or you can purchase the ability to be telepathic, brain-to-brain interface with companies. For over 10 years on the Amazon Start My Coffee Pot with my mind, fly my little hobby drone with my mind. Where's everybody been? Arguing about worthless things like Epstein and Diddy? How'd that turn out for you now? May this be the moment you take back your anatomy in any way?
Yeah, it didn't turn out good. They're stonewalling on everything. It's never going to be released. Is what
It's
the
a
conclusion.
distraction.
Nothing but a distraction. If you the Diddy case was basically about as much as you're going to get. And that's how they're going to handle it. That's what they're telling you.
We'll forget about it in about a few more weeks. Something else will come up.
Yeah, so they're going to keep with the trauma-based mind control
Yes.
constantly.
Way that you can, and you know where it's at in lieu of looking forward for how you make your financial decisions. Good luck. We're at 536. Amen.
So she's talking about Whitney Webb and the financial decisions. Be careful about your financial decisions. And then this go down. The founder, well, he's probably not even the founder because it's DARPA's probably linked to this, but Jack Dorsey.
Web 5, Web 3, Web
Right.
5, what she was just talking about.
That was, he was Twitter. So he designed Web 3, which is what she was talking about. And now they have a Web 5, which so they upgraded. But go out of that.
Go where?
To the next, right here. Let's see. See, the Web 5 is a blend of Web 2 and 3, whereas many current Web 3 apps are built on Ethereum and Solana. That's your stable coins. Dorsey's Web 5 will be built on the Bitcoin blockchain. Web 5 promises to make an internet truly decentralized by bringing features that are lacking in Web 3. Web 3 is not actually decentralized. See, they tell you it is, but it's not. It's actually a reincarnation of Web 2 and is centralized sites like Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, and Wikipedia, where users could publish, edit, and reshare content, but on the blockchain. Instead of promising it to be owned by users, it's owned by controlled by various venture capitalists, beneficiaries of private sales and centralized API infrastructures. As Web 3 gained massive momentum in 2021 with a goal to tokenize everything. They want to tokenize everything, even nature, and connect assets to a blockchain. Web takes a different approach, relying on only one blockchain, Bitcoin, and only for a single use. So that's when you saw that guy that was, I think he used to be the CEO of Nestle, was talking about they're going to start charging you for water. That's all tied in with this blockchain and tokenizing. They want to tokenize everything. So they tell you it's decentralized, but it's not, like she's explained. You cannot decentralize from these agencies. You can, not yet. So you think it's all just yours and you control it, but there's backdoors with private.
Little Joe.
Okay, let's see. And then there's the arrival of Internet of Things and smart home devices, like she explained. You'll be able to control those with your mind. You won't even have to touch anything. They can store and process the user's emotional profile. So they'll have an emotional profile on you. To provide services gives us a clue about what an emotional web will look like. It also is likely to use galvanic skin response, like she was speaking about in that video, technologies which apply biometric sensors in wearable devices to recognize emotions and stress levels.
So that way, while you're sitting there scrolling your Facebook and your ex, angry, and you get triggered, it's going to start taking tabs.
Yes, it's going to create a digital twin of you, basically.
An emotional wreck online.
Yes.
Or love and light. It just depends.
They'll be able to assess you based on that. Like if you could be dangerous, if you're whatever.
Lashing out.
Yeah.
So that's like the thought police, right?
Right. Like Minority Report.
This is Stephen King's It.
Yes.
IT, Internet of Things.
Yes. Okay, the Web 5 is currently being developed by Blockhead, one of the Bitcoin businesses units founded by Jack Dorsey. Dorsey is a prominent internet entrepreneur and former co-founder of Twitter. Recently, he expressed criticism of Web 3 and its limitations, believing that it is owned by venture capitalists and limited partners and is not decentralized as it claims to be. Web 5 is therefore set to embrace the convenience of Web 2 while leveraging Bitcoin's decentralized nature, forming a superior solution compared to the vision promoted by Web 3 supporters. But as you said in that other article, it's still linked to Web 3, which is not decentralized. So they're going to advertise Web 5 as decentralized, but it's attached to Web 3, which is not.
Who has a Blockhead?
Wasn't there a
Who does the
cartoon called
Who wears
Blockhead?
who wears the blocks on their heads?
Okay, how does Web 5 relate to emotional intelligence? A distinctive feature of Web 5 is that it aims to become a linked web that is not only intelligent, but also emotional. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to understand, use, and manage emotions in positive ways to communicate efficiently and empathize with others and overcome challenges. Leveraging emotional intelligence, Web 5 will be able to directly communicate with its users, like a personal assistant might. That's your digital twin. Just as people communicate with each other. The arrival of the Internet things and smart home devices can store and process the user's emotional profile. So.
Damn.
And that all goes with, they want to centralize everything, your health, all that. So it will be able to read all that. You'll have a digital twin.
I always wanted the digital twin.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, I really
crazy.
wanted the real twin in real life, but a digital one will work, I guess.
Right. No, I don't want a digital twin. So it can be like your companion, your buddy, right?
Yeah.
And that
Be like AI
that could
sheepdog.
lead into other dystopian type stuff, like that movie. What was that movie we watched on Amazon, where they had synthetic like boat robots? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies like that.
And they would pick up on the real human's emotions and mimic it.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing now
And-
online.
Right. And she would remember she could cry because she saw the little girl cry. It would just mimic the real human. But it really doesn't have any emotions. It just mimics the human's emotions. So this is basically what that does.
Yeah, they don't. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to understand, use, and manage emotions in positive ways to communicate effectively, empathize with others, and overcome challenges. What's the next one? This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you did that one.
So all that ties in with the telehealth, the stable coins, Bitcoins. It's all going to be together on the Internet of Things. So it will create a reality. They were talking about the meta glasses, so people can put on and see a different reality. If things get too much, it takes you into another portal, another way of seeing things. So you'll be creating an alternate universe, right, for yourself, basically.
Look, Charlotte's Web. That's what I was thinking when I seen that.
Web 5.
Because this is what the natives said they saw in the skies. There was already, it's called the net. D-N-E-T.
The dream catchers.
The net, the dream catchers and stuff look like this.
Yes.
So
Because
it's
been
always
up there.
been here.
Yes, but they're just tapped into it and
Yes.
upgrading it.
So it depends on who's in control of it, whether or not it's good or evil, so to speak.
So
So whose hands is it in? The web.
well, right now, not into good.
But see, we could tap into the ether.
We can tap directly into the ether. But that's what this catches, our thoughts.
Yeah, look at that.
This web.
I was thinking Charlotte's Web.
That's what the native talked about, dream catchers, how it would catch your dreams, right? And
It's like Spider-Man.
the infrastructure takes your dream. They use your dreams to understand us better. Because in our dreams, we have a lot of creativity, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it takes our thoughts and our dreams and it captures it.
That's probably why a lot of people are like, man, I haven't really been dreaming a lot lately.
Right, exactly.
Because by the time you wake up, it's already captured.
That's why that other video was telling you to turn your phone off, especially when you sleep. Turn your phone off because there's a bunch of things saying you can, turn this off and turn that on your phone, but it never actually turns off. But you could turn your phone off. You can put it in, a Faraday or in foil or get it away from you while you sleep.
And turn your Bluetooth off.
Plus, you'll feel so much better the next morning. You'll have a really good, nice sleep. And
do that for a while, and you'll notice a difference, and maybe your dreams will come back.
Right. So this is the fork in the road, right? You either go natural, back to natural health, nature.
Yeah, this is
or
it.
You want to go the techno way, and then go down to this other one.
Oh, this one?
No.
You want me to close this out?
Yeah, go down. Where is it? The human augmentation.
I didn't see that.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh.
This is right here. Up one more.
Yeah, hold on. There it goes.
Okay.
Click.
Right. Now, this human augmentation talks about your DNA, and they do have the ability to regrow limbs through this human augmentation. That's if you're all hooked up. So this is where it becomes very tempting for people that have health issues, missing limbs, stuff like that, because this will be very tempting for them to accept, right?
Can we read that or we go?
Yeah, let's see. See, this is what she talks about, the 4th international summits. They have the summits on all those.
Yeah.
Genome editing. Those are just the conferences.
Yeah, they just
but they've been doing conferences like she was talking about.
Same thing with the flu.
Donald Trump, IVF, and billionaire babies. They're going to have designer babies with IVF.
They're going to have little Trumpians running around.
Genetic selections. A few years ago, they were the rich were paying for designer babies, where they could make different color, the color eyes you wanted, the IQ, the hair color, all that. Well, they were messing with their genomes and their DNA, which.
So they're trying to play God.
Yeah, polygenic traits, human embryos, and eugenic dreams. The last children, so they're saying they're going to get rid of Down syndrome by doing this. A new era of designer babies may be based on overhyped science. The tech billionaires of rogue scientists moving to commercialize CRISPR babies.
That's that CRISPR like they had in the vaccines.
In the mRNA, yeah.
The NR, where they cut the slice into the DNA string, and they insert.
Then when will genetically modified our children go mainstream? Parents can choose the genetic makeup of their children with the new IVF option. Remember, Trump was talking about doing the IVFs. And then first personalized CRISPR gene editing therapy. Patient baby KJ discharged. So they've already done the experiments on the babies.
There's
It
a
was the
CRISPR
first
again.
personalized CRISPR baby. So you can personalize your baby.
See, this is the CRISPR right here. Look.
Yes, it cuts the DNA.
So you get when you hear CRISPR, there you go.
Cuts it out. So it cuts the strand out.
What does it say? Protect your DNA.
Yes.
All right.
And doctors can test embryos for autism. Bride of China's Frankenstein. Oh my God, that sounds good. And he's probably augmented himself.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And human life optimized.
He's an advanced human, according to Trump.
Yeah, because he's been CRISPR'd, and he's probably what, clone or he was a designer baby. Who knows?
I don't know what he's got going on.
But this is the utopia they want to go into.
So designer babies, you can get like a Prada baby or what?
However you want your baby. You can
like a designer one.
You can get a high IQ
like
baby.
Dolce & Gabbana or maybe.
You can customize it. That's sick. You're playing God.
I can see some issues with this.
Yeah.
Some malfunctioning.
Right. And it's not the first time they did it. That's what the story and the Egyptians they were doing, editing this.
All right.
Here's go down to the next augmentation, the next article. That one. That's what it talks about. The
Here we go. TechRadar.com.
Yeah. It says human augmentation is a dangerous temptation we are unlikely to resist. Biohacking could open up a world of possibilities, but there will be plenty of strings attached.
Damn, boy, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's what it's all about. That's Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
That's the path of the sun and the moon.
So the ability... Yeah. Okay.
So go ahead, man.
So the ability to repair the body using technology has long been celebrated, but the issue becomes more complex when it comes to enhancing humans beyond their natural state. Many people are conflicted about the idea of voluntary biohacking, caught between the opinion that people should be able to do with their bodies what they wish, and concerns about the implications of modifying the human physique. A new study from Security from Kaspersky indicates that almost half, or 46.5% of adults, believe they should be allowed to enhance themselves with augmentation technologies, but a similar proportion, 39%, harbor concerns that augmentation could result in conflict or society inequality.
What? I'll keep going.
Okay, let's see. That's okay.
Oh man, I've been waiting for that. Damn.
Right here. This one, go back up a little bit.
I can't wait to get the chip. I'm ready.
Go down. No, down.
I'm gonna be all that in a bag of chips.
Hold on, I can't find it now. Oh yeah, a little bit more.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Right here. So according to Meyer, these questions also need to be integrated in the context of business interests as well. The able-bodied market is much larger than the disabled one. So the emergence of voluntary biohacking could see the medical use deprioritized. Hannes, I'm going to stop right there. Co-founder of biohacking company, Disruptive?
Descriptive.
No, disruptive.
Oh, disruptive.
I mean, hello. They're disrupting some shit here. And they even put it in the name, disruptive. This shit's disruptive. Right there. And then they're going to do subdermals. Was the only member of the panel to have voluntarily modified himself. So he has implanted an RFID chip in his hand, which he says can be used to unlock doors and pay for train fares and more. I'm like, I don't lock doors and I don't go on trains, so I go ahead and pass on this one. So despite his role as an ambassador for what kind of doors you got to have set up on your house to walk through or wherever you're going with your chip?
Because that's what they want to do. So you don't. Lose
so that way, if you're a bad boy,
you don't lose your keys or anything. You know, it's right there in your
right there. Man, that's convenience. Then, despite his role as an ambassador for voluntary biohacking, he conceded that there is much work to be done and many questions yet to be answered. There are super important. This totally proves all of the conspiracy theories correct.
Yes, exactly.
All the conspiracy theories for decades that have been talking about the chip.
Yes.
And then here we're reading about it like it's right now.
Like she said, it's voluntary.
Oh yeah.
Biohacking. So I mean, they're already biohacking us right now, but they want you to consent
I think
to the upgraded biohacking.
They got a few million people chipped already. I don't know what the number is exactly, but no.
Right, like she was talking about. So they have soldiers that are already augmented.
I'm probably chipped.
No, probably
you
just
think
recently. I'm thinking because remember you couldn't get you couldn't stay in the military unless you got the mRNA, right?
Oh yeah.
So that had something to do with that. It has the CRISPR in it, so that it was already augmented. That was like the first step of the stages, and then it's going to progress. They're not going to throw this all at once, so they do little here. This is for kids won't be trafficked no more. There will be less crime. All that stuff. No more fraud. No more corruption.
Yeah, I bet, because everybody's gonna have to be a good boy and girl in order to get their money and get in their house and start their car.
They'll sell it to everybody, and it will sound good and righteous. And this is good thing. This is how we can get humanity back.
And this is how we can save the children.
Yes.
Let me. Here we go. There are super important human rights and cybersecurity dimensions. For example, it is important the implant in my body owned by me or the wait, what the heck is that? My way.
Oh, no, something popped up.
Here, let me get this out of the way here. So there are super important human rights and cybersecurity dimensions. For example, is the implant in my body owned by me or the company that made it? Does that company have a right to push updates to an implant that sits inside me? Damn.
Yeah.
There's a fundamental difference between Internet of Things, IoT, and connected devices in our homes. And the moment this technology becomes truly integrated in our bodies, augmenting the body voluntarily must add significant value. It cannot be a gimmick. Regardless of those various concerns, however, he believes it's important not to lose sight of the opportunity at hand. No pun intended. Ultimately, human augmentation technology is about creating a much better future. It's about opening new opportunities and ways of self-expression and sensory enhancement and better understanding of our vital systems and more. Damn. That's the Antichrist type, scenario going on here.
Right.
Hooking up to it.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of concerns on it because it can be used. It could be used good for good things like people that have severe issues, right? Like paraplegics or something like that. But again, there's a fine line, and a lot of stuff would have to be passed and how do you say it? You'd have to be well informed. Plus, you would have to. There needs to be regulations on it. And then who was it that? Oh, Biden had regulations on AI, and Trump released the regulations. Right, he took off all the regulations on AI. So we would have to ask for regulations and stuff like that. I don't know.
So laying the foundation, although the panelists lay bare the full range of issues attached to augmentation technology, none offered a particularly sound or comprehensive solution to balancing the risk with the opportunity. According to Casper, the most important consideration is that security is established in advance, which has not historically been the case with technological developments. So when you look back at the evolution of technology, a pattern is clear. When computers arrived, nobody really cared about security, and infections were widespread. And the same was true of mobile devices and Internet of Things, said Marco Pruis, Director of Global Research and Analysis Europe at Casper.
Yeah, I remember when
Casper Sky.
They had that list of every year that a new technology came out. They had like the Spanish flu. They had all these different.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Every time.
Yep.
Yep.
They can link the every time people get sick to the upgrades in the phone services.
Yes, because it messes with your biofield, which is what keeps you healthy.
But people don't even realize they get a biofield.
I know.
So they go to their doctor that doesn't know anything about the biofield or the body,
right? Because
they prescribe you medications that
like
kill you.
Many people have trauma, suppressed trauma, which causes your body to be ill, right? You have all sorts of issues. So your aura, your biofield, which is your aura, it doesn't protect you because it's diminished.
Yep. And then that's when you get sicker more often, huh?
Yes.
Some people don't ever get sick. That's because their bio
it's strong.
is good, strong. Oh, what?
Yeah, finish reading.
Oh, with these new augmentation technologies, whether on body or in body, we need to take care before they reach the market. Governments, industry leaders, and augmented people must come together to shape the future of human augmentation so we can ensure that this exciting industry develops in a way that is regulated and totally safe and effective for everyone.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought it said something about limbs in that article. Did we pass it?
Yeah, I didn't. Let's go up here. Prosthetics right here. So let me go up here and read this. So the dual use problem. Casper Sky recently brought together a panel of augmented people to debate the merits and pitfalls of biohacking. Some were equipped with bionic prosthetics for medical reasons, while others had actively chosen to modify themselves. So they were asked about the impact of augmentation technologies on their lives. Model Lily Lockey and pop artist Victoria Modesta, both of whom use bionic prosthetics as replacement limbs, explained that on-body augmentations have changed the way society perceives disability. So that may work for people, though.
That's what I'm saying. But like the bottom said, there's a lot that has to be done before it even goes out there, because like Sabrina Wallace was talking about in that video, you can't sue. You can't sue the software. You can't sue the companies. So if something goes wrong, you're pretty much screwed, right?
Yeah.
So those things, there would have to be a lot to change, and things implemented to make it where it'd be safe, right? If you wanted to try it.
Yeah, they'll do this at the worst case scenario. So
right.
They'll give the people somebody that they'll pick somebody out of each hospital to try it. Maybe near fatal accidents, car accidents,
Right,
or
which they probably already have.
yeah.
I'm sure.
So with advances in technology, augmentations have become less about making other people more comfortable and more about utility for the wearer. Using electrical signals generated by muscle tissue, modern bionic limbs can move their digits and rotate at their joints as the real human equivalents do. There you go. So Dr. Bertoltmeyer, a professor at Chemnitz University of Technology, said his
Prosthesis.
is even capable of converting signals that would usually control the hand into signals that a synthesizer can understand, allowing him to effectively create music with thoughts. When I was fitted with a more advanced hand, there was no more pity. People thought it was cool and wanted to understand how it works, and coolness is typically very, very much the opposite of disabled, he said. Although there is no ethical baggage attached to modify the bodies of those in medical need, the waters are muddied by the opportunity for similar technologies to be applied to able bodies. Meyer referred to this as the dual use problem. So we need a common set of rules and regulations, and we need to discuss what is permissible. Would it be acceptable to cut off a completely healthy limb to replace it with a biological limb that is even more capable? He asked.
Right, and then I forgot to send you the other article, but the other article was talking about when they talk about the designer babies. And I remember a conversation several years ago when they were talking about all this new technology come out. You can pick your what size you want to be, your hair color, your eye color. That's it. That's augmentation. That's what you would redo yourself by being augmented. I don't know about that. I wouldn't modify myself, but that's basically your med beds. They'd be able to heal you by biohacking. Like I said, we are the med beds, right? But that's if you want to go that direction, or you can do it the natural way. So there's two roads you can take. That's their version of healing you.
All right. Let's see. Huh? Where is it at? Oh, I just on YouTube. How long is that one? So this is the biofield. Let's see.
Yeah, that's a good ad. She explains it really good.
Okay.
You can do it yourself too. Fix your biofilm.
All right, let's check it out for a minute, and then we'll. This should help explain what especially after everything we just went over.
Over and over again, they're like, well, all you're doing is saying, how does your phone work? No, I'm trying to draw your attention to literal tech metrics. I don't know where my phone went. So that you understand how easy it is to log into you and make a change.
Okay. Yep. I'm making the screen bigger here.
So, how did we get to this point where all these good people in radio frequency, etc., that they don't know shit about what we're actually doing in the human body? And in order to explain all of this, I've had to make a gazillion signs. I've had to come back out here over and over again. And I've been trying to figure out why it is. There's my phone. that nobody else seems to know these things. Okay. This is my great uncle's folder from Shepherd Air Force Base. I often also show his Aberdeen Proving Ground stuff. That's my little pink book, wherever it's hiding at the moment. And then I also go over his old notes with flux density notation with mercury and whatnot. Why? So that people understand that this has been going on for a really long time. So tell me how your phone works. When you click a button and you send an email, you don't see the email leave the phone. It's a wireless, invisible signal, just like your body. It's a body part. So when I worked at UW Whitewater for my job, I found IBM software that they alleged was also used way back when Fauci and them wanted to get their shit off the ground for attacking the human immune system. Well, if you don't know that the human immune system is 80% your biofield, you called it the aura, you called it stupid. Yeah, I know. That's because 6,000 years of human telemetry, chiropractic, and the rest of it for your circulatory system just magically disappeared. Nobody has any idea what's going on. That was 6,000 years of the human circulatory system. You call it chakras. Yeah, they call it aim and fire. 150 years ago, Aleister Crowley and people, yeah, nothing's real except what you can see. There is no biofield. There's no cymatics. There's no radionics. There's no plasmonics. There's nothing except what you can see. Well, that's a body part that's responsible for 80% of our immune system. How do we know for sure? The definition of Children's Hospital, the organs and tissues that comprise the immune system, the thymus, the bone marrow, the lymphatic, your vessels, your spleen, and your skin. And so I'm like, yeah, the human biofield being watched by Project Salus. So the human biofield is the aura, is your W band, 802.15.6. Department of Defense Directive 3000.09, everything is autonomous. And you have an MQ-9 Reaper drone attached to your skin and bone. That's a big bird for those of you that know. She's huge. And so for me, I'm like, why in the hell do we need something that big? Well, for those of you in radio frequency, yet again, that don't understand that we're playing around with the particulate in the atmosphere and perturbating the human biofield with the Doppler. Okay? And we're not talking about any of that. We're not talking about geoengineering and weather control, and all these systems work together. When I log into your body, I'm looking at multiple manifolds, torus manifolds, and then I'm using mathematics to log into your cell structure with something called biophysics, opto-array, electronic, photonic, moving your cells around with pressure, temperature, and physics, physical, biophysics change. Not, oh gee, I'm waving my magic wand. No, I'm logging into your body with radio frequency directly. This is how AI precision healthcare is offered. I'll show you the bigger sign here in a minute. Step 1, since 2005, any little nerd.
She said AI precision healthcare, right?
Yes.
And I just want to pull something up so you can understand what the connection to that is here recently, right? With this right here, President Trump announces Stargate.
Yes.
$500 billion AI infrastructure.
Stargate is the infrastructure.
This, you might want to go listen to it. I just want to show it. I'm going to pause it, but we'll come back to it. But I wanted to make that connection real quick. These guys, this guy is not human. Probably none of them are.
Probably all human too.
They look like
Half
us,
AI.
but they ain't us. This guy, like, he has some major issues. He's
Kind of like They Live, right?
Let me go back. Let me go here. Hold on 1 second. Let me make this. Oh, here we go.
Who could code in Zigbee and Bluetooth for light switches since 2005 is working with these biosensors, K-hop nearest neighbor routing, dynamic channel allocation, thermodynamic routing, right there. You can go look it up. Open shortest path first, body to body. How did I find it? Cybersecurity for the new digital ID and the 6G low personal area network. Machine to machine, no human can crack it or de-encrypt it or encrypt it. And it's ad hoc, vehicular ad hoc.
Yeah, all your pandemics.
Pan was a demon. Yes.
Yeah. What do they tell you when you want to go take a nap?
Mm-hmm.
That's what pan in reverse.
Yes.
So M2M, M&M's, masturbation, VA net. There you go.
Or whatever, and then the body is what sends the signal. Now, the moment that I found this mathematically by the metrics, I had a shit fit because I'm like, how in the hell are you using the human body for that? What are you doing? If you're doing that, you're using the aura. And of course, you can imagine as a natural telepath, having been electronically tortured lifelong for metrics, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You told me, not y'all, but family, professionals, people, oh, energy work is bullshit. The aura's not real. Only believe in what you can see. We're going to fix people's health. Well, I was told I had pseudotumor cerebri. Anybody got an autoimmune disorder out there? You ever wondered why they can't fix it? Okay. Maybe I should get that other sign back here for a second. Where's your immune system? 80% of your immune system is in that field. Am I able to electronically log into you and change out the cellular homeostasis of your electrical cell structure? And anybody who knows anything about biology, do you shit ham sandwiches? When you go eat your lunch, after you're done eating your lunch, do you shit it out in the same format? No. And why is that? Because we're biochemical beings and we have electricity in our cells. Yeah. But if I hit you with the signal and I decouple your ass from your circadian rhythms by using the ratio, the golden ratio, to decouple, uncouple the cellular state. Now, where did I get this from? Tufts University, Dr. Michael Levin. Life extension, synthetic biology, immortality research. It's called regenerative medicine, biomedical tissue engineering, wireless tissue engineering. For that, we have to disassociate your electrical fields, plural. This is called the biofield at the National Institute of Health. In the quantum market share, it's called the quantum field. In morphogenesis, you heard me, synthetic biology, morphogenesis, it's called the morphogenetic field. And why? Because it's still all the same damn thing. Your cells at every level exchanging data in your lymphatic system, your tissues. And now they're hacking it.
That's why they want the damn Fitbits and the damn.
Yes.
We're testing on. We're damn lab rats, and we don't even realize it. Everybody's wearing it voluntarily because it's an Apple
And
on there.
Our cell phones, right?
Yeah, cellular.
That came out. Yeah, that's how they started tethering us.
See, we had to go. We could the beepers.
Started with the pagers, right?
We should have just
upgraded to cell phones, and then each cell phone upgraded. Apple upgraded.
Yeah, and it keeps going and going.
You're getting meshed in more and more. The newer iPhone you get, the more you're hooked up.
Biometrics, your health, your pulse rate, all through your skin.
Into that, changing it so that they can get transhumanism, synthetic biology.
They're already transhumans, is what this shit is right here.
Yeah, they've already
That's
done
what this
it.
is.
That's why the millionaires live so long. They've done that to
This
themselves.
dude's old as shit.
Yes.
It's like 80 something, I believe. Oracle, $500 billion investment, AI infrastructure.
We'll go back to that.
OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle.
Life extension. Where the fuck is everyone else? Why are they doing that? If they're going to work and they're working on it, why are they telling you it's not real? Well, I'm going to show you. It's very simple. I went ahead because I was so angry, and when I get mad, I do research, and then I force myself to take a breath, go outside with the bow staff if I'm really pissed off, and come back to Zen. Self-control. Make a list. And I'm like, okay, wait.
So if I go to work for Command and Control C4ISR, SuperNet and NibberNet back into the NSA, DNA steganography with the NSA, and we watch every synaptic exchange at 5,100 bits and log it with the NSA PRISM program. That's what Assange, Snowden, and all of them were talking about. That's why they killed Barnaby Jack, the ATM jackpotter. He was there at DEF CON to present that it was easier to hack a human body with a pacemaker or otherwise. You didn't need to have a pacemaker than it was a car. Dead. So with that in mind, I'm like, why can't we talk about this? So I went and found where you can talk about it because...
Hold on. So they were hacking people with pacemakers?
Yeah.
Even in the machine learning, you're not allowed to write the word biofield, which I found very weird, okay, because nobody reads that stuff. So then I found out that it is the following. Electronic medical police, warfare divisions, military, your Lockheed, Raytheon, all of them. Advanced signals technology. It's everywhere as a job. In information, surveillance, and reconnaissance, the Internet of Behaviors, bodies, things, the industrial Internet of Things, the medical body area network, all way back, 2005, 2015. It's all there. And I'm like, these are jobs? Oh, yeah. And then neuromodulation, neural stimulation, Project Salus, watching everybody think in real time with CT2WS, cognitive warfare technology, EEG headset, ultrasound, modified ultrasound, all walking around on a headset. Then,
so like she was saying, they've already been doing this. So now, since didn't have knowledge of this, now we have the knowledge of this. They want you to consent to doing the rest, right? They need your consent.
Yeah, that's why it's voluntarily.
Right.
Just like taxes and everything else.
So they're going to offer to, you'll have to consent to doing it. They can't make you. It'll be your choice. But before, they've been doing this without our knowledge at all.
We're wearing the Fitbits.
Right. So now that all the truth is coming out, now we have a choice. You can go that direction or go the natural healing your aura field, naturally, right?
Yeah, the chip that they start with the chip in your credit cards, your cell phones,
Right.
and then next thing you know, it's in you.
It's slow process.
Yeah.
the Renius chipset embedded in their left hemisphere. I'm like, where did all of this come from? Synthetic telepathy, been out there since 1995. So they needed a backbone. Just like back in the day when everybody was logging into email for the first time on dial-up, it would get crowded. People would have to wait forever and get kicked off. I fucking worked it. I would know. So my job was to upgrade them, to bring them out of dial-up and onto cable modems, for which I used a system called NMAPs on COM controllers with something called COM21 cable modems, which were different than the throwaway DOCSIS stuff in the big cities, different markets, so different hardware, everything, different software. So I went ahead as I continued to make my little T-bar list, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. If I'm in radio frequency, if I'm in IT, I log into the body, make changes, and organize. If I'm anyone else in the world, I'm a fucking nut job. Give me drugs and make me sit still. And the only place you can really learn about the biofield is in the Bible, because Jesus used it to heal. And I mean, it's ions and electrons. It's your exchange with your environment. That's why everybody works with radar. We're told, get your nuts away from it because it'll overheat you and such. It's microwave. And then they also could feel the radar coming and going without looking at the screen. Yes, because you have an electrical body part involved. So then, as if all that wasn't enough, because I couldn't figure out, how is this so obvious to me, but not everyone else? Because I admit the body part. Now, entering where I come from. I come from Black projects. So I go back to my grandmother, who was a Rosicrucian in Chicago, has a bunch of depression glass. These are nanolipids. And they would have them stand on a metal plate or whatever. Yeah. And that's your specialized concrete for human teleportation, like you heard out of the mouths of Sean Ryan and other people who he interviewed, the Marines and such, that found the photonic different mixtures of concrete, just like the Roman Colosseum specialized limestone. So this is also another reason why I'm like, oh my God, you guys have been doing this for 100 years plus. Radio frequency, industrial, scientific, and medical band. This is where we got our 2.4 terahertz from. And that's your targeted individuals in Havana syndrome as well. 2 radio frequency sinks, one over the heart, one over the bladder. Illegal as fuck, putting RFID chips in people since the 60s with John von Neumann's software and architecture. Why and how? So the first line I ever did, I had to destroy because the Pentagon was so pissed at me. And I said, I know why you've done this, because you did it for wireless tissue engineering, which is what's his name is up there with Palpatine, also known as Klaus Schwab, talking about all the time. Okay? So your body is 802.15.6. You're a wide body area network. We fly a drone with sensors, open system architecture, and modified open system approach. We can slap any hardware on the ass end of it. We can log into it with a web portal. We fly it over your home. Now, people who think that CERN, and Tokamak are demon portals are a bit confused. Big fucking magnet under your feet could be the baseboard carrier signal to your cable company or baseline satellite. And we create an electromagnetic field above your head and below your feet. Now, your biofield, your whole fucking body, is inside of 802.15.6. The biosensors are individually accessible with CISA MyTinyOS cyber
It's an Ethernet.
Yes.
Their Ethernet.
security on 802.15.4.
Yeah.
Your wireless sensor networks create radio frequency relays and anything that they need to perturbate cell structure on 802.15.5. And before you say, well, what the hell do they need all that for? Precision artificial intelligence, wireless healthcare. So we break out the internal organs and divide it up, and that's how we're able to make the genetic change if we want to with the CRISPR-Cas9 infusion, which I'll show on a slide here in a moment. Or we can just go ahead and terahertz to gigahertz, gigahertz to terahertz, and exchange out your cell structure. Oh, but they need to practice that. They already did. So what they did was they lied. First you see a UFO, they radiate your body part known as the biofield. Then you start getting psychic abilities. They're called psionics. Telepathy, empathy, precognition, telekinetics. It's all natural in human bodies. Neurons. And neurons are not only in your brain, they are body-wide. Nobody knows any of that. You're not allowed to talk about any of that. So instead, you're told you're a fucking nut job, take drugs, or else you can't talk to anybody who's normal. The Christians will scare the shit out of you, call you evil. The people that want to wear robes, bleed on the floor, and do stupid shit with the CIA, thinking that they're surfing the astral plane, they end up on the Cisco backplane. And you're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, they're pulling the neurons out of your body just a little bit at a time and loading them into a neuromorphic chipset. How do you think they got such incredible artificial intelligence in the first fucking place? It's your neurons. And they admit they need living neurons to do what they do. Now, this is where a bunch of people get fucked up with me. And they're like, oh, Sabrina, you're being a doom pillar, blah, blah, blah. There's no way they would pull our neurons out of our body, store them in a chipset, and then take our skin and bone, do what they wanted to with it, lock us underground, and then when we think we're being born, they're putting us back into another body somewhere. And everyone goes, ah! And I'm like, listen, the dimension that we live in, they lied to you about how it works with material physics. You think people are going to burn in fire and brimstone. This is the part of things you can take it or leave it. But what I saw was that people go into a neuromorphic chipset. It's a plasmonic architecture underground. And that makes sense to me because that's one of the reasons so many people throw in with this system that recycles itself. It's not some big secret. These are jobs. So the wireless body area network, you're sitting there, they fly over, you get radiated, you start having psionic abilities, and they continue to perturbate your biofield. They watch your dreams, they record your dreams, and they record everything you're thinking in real time to databases that are using the ubiquitous and the ambient air molecules all around you. Again, well-minded, or I should say healthy people, they're like, that's way too much micromanagement. Yeah, but if you didn't have a body, and you had no way to have a body, and you're running the world and you're obsessed with control, okay? The next thing is if you get a little too radiated and your bionomics, your bioinformatics fall out of place or you fall into a liminal space, we can then morph you again with genomics and morphology, transhumanism full on, and turn you into Bigfoot and Wolfman and whatever else. And you can be bilocated. And there's 4D skiffs that they can walk into to be secure from bioweapons.
So you'll be like a bisexual, but you'll be like a bi-transsexual. Transhumanism.
So they can change you into a werewolf or a Bigfoot. God dang.
Sounds nuts. I know. Everybody's like, no, the aliens are here. And I said, no, we make the aliens. And everybody continued to freak out on me. And I'm like, listen, the HemiSync thing, the CIA gateway process, that was you people feeding the databases. You're bleeding over the masters for DNA synchronicity and DNA sequence matching. That's your global information grid for your digital twin. And your string theory is bullshit. But we do have a 4D. There's no multiverse. There's just the Nephilim and everybody else. For me, I'm like, How is it that you're not telling anybody that you've got their ass on the cloud with 80% of their immune system locked down? Transcranial magnetic stimulation was what they were doing to me, but they told me I had pseudotumor cerebri. Back in the 90s, they said when you could feel the subtle electrocution, there was no such thing back then as electrosensitive because they didn't tell anybody they were subtly electrocuting people. They said, no, you have fibromyalgia. You're just a wuss to pain. No, you don't. You have pseudotumor cerebri, fake brain tumor. Your brain is acting like it has a tumor, but we don't know why. Well, because you're transcranially magnetically stimulating my brain to swell it and deswell it for metrics testing for non-invasive N3 with DARPA. That's fucking why. And I have a seraphim, and I was removed from the N3 process, which is MPD and DID. You just put an EEG overlay of personality, just a nanolobotomy, a few neurons at a time, and then we can induce your neurons into an alpha state. When we do that, it causes schizophrenia, but only in certain neural networks. And we use that back in the day in the 80s and 90s to check parity for neuron, neuron, and brain, brain. Now those products and services are commercial. They are available from the Artificial Intelligence Symposium that you can still go read the transcripts for from September 2020. And that's synthetic telepathy and synchron and brain-to-brain interface, which is, in my opinion, why they needed to hurry up and get the newest backbone deployed, because not enough people knew, of course, because it's their personal private system of walking circles around all the good people who are doing their jobs legally. And none of this has legal oversight. All of it is black projects hidden. So that's why I keep getting pissed at people who claim they're going to sue people. I'm like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You either don't know what you're talking about, or you're purposely swindling people out of good money because you're not suing anybody. I'm looking for my synthetic biology side. Anyways, so after having all your autoimmune disorders that never go away, I wanted to know, how the fuck did they do this? Well, back in the day, with all these companies that they have with IBM, Fairlongen, and Underground, they just kept going to work. Nobody said a fucking word. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. The quantum systems with the IEEE and all that are on. In 2019, well, come on, let's go. Turn on the synchron and the brain-to-brain interface on the back end on a bigger system. What do I mean? Quantum computing, we gave the signature reduction force to people in the white vans a job and a pension. I have longer videos to prove that out. Local logistics started hybridizing themselves with transhumanism. In the 90s, you had non-invasive N3, library access, NIST, NASA, and brain-to-brain web portals. 1995 in Congress. You think they knew? Then in 802.15.4 becomes commercial to all the little nerds in 2005. In 2012, Carrie Majane group, they all get together and get told, we're doing this. We're going to be deploying in a few years to get ready. Shut your fucking mouth about anything related to the biofield, just like they took away all of Dr. Robert Young's work in the last 3 years. And then in 2014, brain-to-brain interface became commercially available. Now, with all that additional traffic, now between themselves and all the different elites and people that have now thrown in to be transhuman and take over the world, do you think they needed a bigger backbone? COVID has its own data center. They need to make sure that they can change out everybody on a button press remotely. That way there's no worrying about you fighting them or getting in their way. Would you believe that's what's written inside the Pentagon directive? Because it is. They're not worried about you being able to pull your gun. They're only worried about unintended engagement and loss of control of their drones. There was no, interestingly, the Department of Defense Directive 3009 does not refer to positive outcomes as a design criterion. Department of Defense Directive 3009 defines the goal of autonomous systems to avoid negative outcomes, unintended engagement, or experience a loss of control. 2012 for implementation on the 8th of May, 2017. And the wide body area network since 1995 and your biosensor since 2005 means nobody got a choice. We have human body or human bonding communication on the RF. Everyone is now a cyborg with soft robotics deployed with the biosensors that are DNA analyte derivative made out of your tissue, talking to satellites on position navigation and timing, NTS-3 accessible, no GPS needed, inside of your body. Your body is the network. Your body is the node. Your DNA is propagating the signal. No tower required. And that's the same system that I was born to in 1979 that they already had because Grandmother Rosicrucian and everybody else have been working on this for a couple hundred years. With databases and underground computers. How do you make Greek fire? Right. So, for me, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Metamaterials. And everybody goes, what's the metamaterial? And I said, well, it's not going to be enough to get it in you with radio frequency due to the line of sight problems and all the other problems that we have with electromagnetic waves and beamforming. And it wasn't enough to have your Mac ID under control with the physical stuff. No. We, for 45 grand a year, sell the ability to log into you to your loved ones so that they can do an EEG overlay and they overwrite your brain tissue. Oh, just don't with the crazy thing, because people don't really do that to me anymore, and you shouldn't either. So La Quinta La Columna came out and said neuromodulation, neural stimulation, and neural monitoring, and it's excited by the graphene. And everybody goes, oh, and I said, yeah, and radio modulation. And that brings me full circle, radio frequency engineers. How the fuck is it that you don't know that we've had all of these systems going on with the Army, multi-domain sensing system with high accuracy detection exploitation system, patterns of life to develop the target, C4ISR, September 14th. What the hell? How is it that you don't know? Give me a break. How can that be possible? Over and over again, I'm sitting here trying to figure out why it is that none of you will open up and say anything to anybody, given that you guys have to be the ones that know how this is being executed. But it's demonstrated by the questions I keep getting. They're like, what are you talking about? Well, guys, when you get rid of our wireless body part and you tell everybody nothing exists except what they can see, you get rid of frequency, oscillation, cymatics, the power of sound, optics, radionics, and anything plasma derivative. Good fucking job. Because they connected this wireless body part to telephony in 1922, and they've been doing anything they want to ever since. You didn't tell anybody about synthetic telepathy in 1995. You didn't tell anybody about the wide body area network. You didn't tell anybody about the biosensors. So our youth have been biohacking. Now, damn it, Janet, this 1,500 year or 300 year, however long plan, we get Galileo and Copernicus out there, throw them in front and say, here, we're going to science now. We killed everybody with the Spanish Inquisition that could read books. Go. But that only lasted for 200 years. And that was only in private universities that you were allowed to learn. Then they start killing everybody again until they get back to the 1960s. Why does that matter? For those of you that don't understand from radio frequency what Langland's equation is, they're killing everybody again until.
See the wars right there?
Yeah.
In between?
Yeah.
All the bullshit?
That's where they could.
Every time you got a war or chaos,
Yep.
there's something else taking place.
Right.
Look over here, not there
Yeah.
type situation, right? Yeah.
Until they get back to the 1960s. Why does that matter? For those of you that don't understand from radio frequency what Langland's equation is, or the Rosetta Stone of mathematics, that took us to a new type of quantum encryption to break all the bit series old encryption with the L function and the meromorphic
1960s.
Didn't
J.D. Vance.
when he was reading that, he said 1960.
Yeah.
Was he reading?
Here, let me pull that up. Real quick.
Just,
Okay.
right.
I'll go back to it. Just remind me.
changing out the polarity.
So remember this, 1960. We had the JFK assassination, trauma-based mind control. Changed everything.
On the complex plane of any toroidal field that we wanted to for modification of the electromagnetic stimulation with quantum underground computers in the quantum space.
Yep.
You took away the body part. You got everybody all fucking confused because they think that it doesn't exist. Put the body part back, and it's real simple. They're piloting you around like a synth. No. Yeah. Because the Project Looking Glass. Oh, yeah, routing radio frequency through the body. 802.15.45. And then,
So this is the equivalent, like she said, like a sim, like Sim City.
Right. And see, they're
This is
using UFOs, which have been made, to send the frequencies down.
Yeah. So they know where everybody's at
Yes.
at all
And
times.
now they have
They know if
drones.
you're hungry. They know if you're thirsty. They know what, everything about, just like Sim City, where you,
Right.
when you're playing it on the computer, it shows kind of like a meter
Right.
of whether they're hungry or happy or whatever, their emotions.
Right.
So they were basically telling you right there in the video game Sim City how they got you hooked up.
Right. And also that movie on Amazon called Upload.
Upload.
Yeah, remember we watched that where they have the tokens go ahead above their head when they want something.
Oh,
None
yeah.
of it's real food. But
Yeah, it's
they
all
can-
artificial. Bland. They can't even taste or.
Right.
All right. Let's go.
And once we line it up with your DNA, well, we have DNA steganography. Did you know that your DNA stores a fuck ton of data for the government? Because it does.
Yeah, that's why they want that blood.
Yes.
From just like
And your plasma.
Yeah.
Because plasma is like water. Well, water is actually plasma. Plasma holds memory.
You have your chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear skiffs that are equally made out of your DNA to protect them from a biofrequency weapon and something called prima materia. Welcome to Project Pandora. I can walk into a liminal space. I can walk into a bioweapon frequency secure skiff. Perfect. Why? Because I'm going to invade the world with my MQ-9 Reapers, pretty fucking magical technology. I showed a picture of a Reaper in 1953. So the medical implant communication system comes online, and we're chipping humans with RFID. The MAC IDs I was born with.
I don't know. MIC is Military Industrial Complex.
Yes.
One in me in 1979. The HemiSync is the EEG brain connectomes, which is what we use when we're logging in and out because the neuronal loop is closed, says Yonich from machine learning, who I take the synergist to point out you don't need to lie about what a MAC ID is and what it does. It is a medium access control derivative, and the people out there in radio frequency.
Again, when you decode MAC, A is a 1. You still got the MIC, Military Industrial Complex. Let's just keep going.
That work with old equipment or don't know about the body area network, they're like, well, how is it changing all the time? Because you're dealing with WSN, which is wireless sensor networks at a very small scale, and they're moving around and they're talking to each other and recombining themselves.
Chip.
Oh. So Yonich in machine learning, he's got quite a few subscribers, and so does Anastasia on tech. And they talk about all the neuron to neuron, brain to brain I'm talking about. Where are you? Probably watching The Sun, which said in December of 2022, oh yeah, we'll need chips in our head.
Yeah, 2022, 33. 20, yeah. 1 + 2 is 3, 1 + 2 is 3, so you get your 33. 56.
In 2100, before anybody can have telepathy. How convenient. What if you're born with it? Well, they're going to take it away from you. Why would they do that? Well, they have brain imaging libraries like Bill that commit changes with CRISPR-Cas9 to your proteins, your peptides, your amino chains, your amino acids, and we take a transcript. So who's doing all this? Same people that I always saw: medical, sheriff, police, lawfare, Maine military, paramilitary, black projects, geospatial, and Silicon Valley. And why are they doing this? Because they can just log into your ass with Geomancer, determine your location with their lovely little curated data labeling and data curation databases that DoD sold off at the Artificial Intelligence September conference in 2020, symposium rather. Amazing Polly explains in Rwanda how we went down and shot aerosolized nano in the air. But we have to have communication that is secure between certain soldiers. And for that, you're back to the 802.15.6. Modify their biosensors. You can save them from the chemical warfare or the aerosolized by popping different types of bioelectric code and wireless tissue engineering healing. And then the wireless sensor networks can relay on all the other humans that you want to do something different. In the very same way, the spells that we cast on people and save in our spell books over on the GitHub, I have vector or feature values when they go into a vector after they've mapped the coordinate with Geomancer. And those feature values are your Digi-ID. So they could be anything. And what we do is we order a drone, take a picture over your home of real time with the access that we have, and then we can fire up a generative adversarial neural network, an artificial neural network, or whatever we want. We'll electrocute the air molecules around your head and execute a terahertz bullet, or whatever we want. And that's with your NTS-3. Again, position, navigation, and timing of your biosensors, 802.15.4. Starting to see how it's kind of a big fucking deal that you laced everyone's ass to the cloud and told them nothing. And then we had, oh, well, you just can't take pain. Oh, it's a fake brain tumor, but we don't know why. Oh, you're having seizures that make your eyes go bloodshot. We don't know why. Lupus, Lou Gehrig's disease, all the autoimmune disorders. Oh, there's nothing we can do. When you electrocute humans through their own tissue and you don't tell them, and you force their immune system to electrically adhese to nanotech or another body in a different electrical way than what your red blood cells and your neurons need to function, you end up with an autoimmune disorder, an automatic immune fucking problem with the order of operation because you're electrocuting them. Yeah, that's what the biosensors do. Oh, so now because no one said a fucking thing about subtly electrocuting people, There's your nanomorgellons. Cancer's not my story to tell, but they tell you on the Daily Mail, get the cancer, take it away in 15 minutes. They've had that capability since 1995. Now it's sudden adult death syndrome. Fuck you some more. And no accountability for all this testing that they did with the vaccinations at the different age scales. None of it. Not a fucking bit of it. So what did we end up with? Full circle. The 6G low personal area network, your ass is attached to the cloud. The signal is propagating from you, your body, your DNA. Turn off the signal for Ebola, killing off your loved ones in front of your face. Stop your DNA. Now that's terrifying. That's some real doom pilling. Yeah, that's cybersecurity. Stop the signal. You have to stop the DNA because the body area network is where the signal is coming from. So it won't go away unless you stop the DNA. So you radio frequency people think you might want to get caught up on a technology from 1995? If that's real.
All right. If your DNA is Jacob's ladder, then you can't climb if they're interfering with that ladder.
That's right. But there's going to come a time, maybe the solar flash, because like she was talking about the sun, right? It's interfering with the sun. The real sun hasn't come in yet. Or maybe it has. We just don't know yet.
The situation that we're in?
Real ID 2005, right? At the same time.
Because the metamaterials are about to make it transhuman very serious. And I will go ahead and pull up the metamaterial guy again, just for you radio frequency hams and people. I have a lot of respect for you guys. I'm very surprised if you don't know. Now's the time.
All right. I think we've seen that one before. So we want to go right into this because this
fast forward back into, well, not the present where Sykes and Pico are drawing with the...
let me pause this real quick. This announcement here.
Mark Ellis.
Right. This is what they're talking about, healing cancer, right? This guy right here.
Yes.
It's my honor to welcome three of the world's leading technology CEOs. And in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. He's sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank's son, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money. Together, Stargate. So put that name down in your books because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential. A new president, let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did. So I appreciate that, fellas, but it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want, where they'll build at the plant, the AI plant, they'll build energy generation, and that will be incredible. But it's technology and artificial intelligence, all made in the USA. Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures. I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. They're going to employ a lot.
Yeah, there's what what's his name's building in Ohio, Les Wexner.
Yeah, and Tesla's in Austin.
Yeah.
No, not in Austin. It's further out. Where it is. Lubbock, I think.
lot of people. And physical campuses, locations currently being scouted nationwide. They're making their choices of locations. I think they have their choice. I'd like to ask Larry, Sam, and they're doing, and if you have any questions, and then we'll go into a couple of other subjects also. But this is, to me, I think it's going to be something very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all. So, Larry, maybe we'll start with you, and we'll go down the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We certainly couldn't do this without you. It would simply be impossible. AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while and with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20 and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records. Not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of the doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in Indian River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. Thank you.
And that's what she was just talking about.
Yes.
Cancer, doctors,
Yes.
digital.
But like Taj was saying,
How they treat.
they're blocking the sun right now, right? That's why it's gray up there.
Yeah.
And I think, because he said they wouldn't be able to do it much longer. I think they can't do it much longer. The sun's gonna knock that out, and we'll get our biofields back. That's my theory. The solar flash.
Yep.
Golden age. Thank you very much.
Golden age.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era. And as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here, we wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President. And I'm thrilled that we get to. I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to, is I think wonderful. So
There you go, right there. Did you hear that? What it's going to do to solve cancer?
How will AI help us with the fight against various problems, diseases, etc.?
these guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
Great. Very good. Thank you.
There you go, right? Trump even asked him the question.
We keep hearing from the Trump administration that it's going after criminals. The rest do not. So that's 92%.
Do what? Yeah, I'm done. Trying to get this going here. Stop screen. Yeah, it sounds like MedVest to me. Oh, there we go. Oh, you got booted off. Hold on 1 second. I gotta. If you want to say anything about anything before I close out.
No, just I would look into alternative things to help heal your biofield. I'm going to be looking into a lot of that, and I'll be sharing that as well to enhance your aura. Meditation's one. Grounding, going out in nature more, music, a lot of things, but we'll go into more alternative things to enhance your aura, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to upload it real quick. I got a video, a special clip here I want to play on our way out. Go ahead. Here, let me play it. Upload it first. But this is from Glenda. It's called "A Message from the Heart," and she has quote, "Support the mission, receive the music. 30 original songs by Glenda Turner on USB. For a $25 donation, all proceeds go to help those in need. Cash App Glenda's. Is it money sign Glenda67 DM, or email your address to glendaturner@gmail.com. So the thumb drive of 30 songs of courage can be sent to you. Let's turn those melodies into miracles.
And it's posted on. Yes.
I think here's the song, and have a happy 4th of July and a good weekend. And we'll see you soon.
Good night, everyone.
Hi, this is Glendia Joyce Turner. First off, I just want to say thank you truly. You didn't just donate. You stood up for someone you may never meet. You stood with me, with the truth seekers, with this mission rooted in music, courage, and compassion. These 30 songs, they weren't written to entertain. They were written to remind us of who we are when we refuse to give up. To remind us of the power we carry when we speak truth, even when our voices shake. I poured every note, every lyric, every breath into this collection because I believe in the light inside you, in the fire inside us all. Maybe you're listening in your kitchen, maybe in your car, maybe with headphones late at night while the world feels too loud. However and wherever you hear these songs, I hope they meet you like a whisper or a roar, whatever your heart needs. This music was never meant to stay quiet. So thank you for listening, for giving, for believing in love that moves and courage that sings. Let's keep seeking, let's keep singing, and let's never stop roaring for what's right. With all my heart, Glendia Joyce Turner.